the latest developments which I just spoke about that we are going to cover here. And the answer was provided first in the form of safe harbor. Now, safe harbor are very important. We have safe harbor in other countries, but I would say the way India has moved about, it is more important for 3 reasons. I'm sorry it's 2 is written here, but there are actually 3 reasons. The first is that if you make a study of 11 countries who have safe harbor, they are basically low-end services, restricted to only few transactions. But India has gone about covering a large number of transactions without threshold of any turnover, and even high-end services are covered. So that is a significant development that India has made, so far as safe harbor is concerned. Then the second point is that consultative process that India has been engaged before rolling out safe harbor. First, Rangachai committee was formulated, which had a representative from the industry. Independent expert was there from the industry. Then safe harbor rules were framed, and those rules were not legislated. They were put in public domain, again for public consultation, and responses were received. And if you see the draft rule and the final rule, there have been a lot of changes. So government responded to those suggestions when it was circulated to the public. So that consultative process, the way India has gone about it, is very significant. And then safe harbor, 5 years term has been given, time-bound action has been provided, so which is also a very significant step. Yes, it is true that people would have, something to say about the margin which has been adopted. But as Mr. Ranjan said in the previous session, that what is important is that government has taken these positive steps. And depending on the responses, one can always look at these again and again. Now, I will not go through these safe harbor. I mean, they are already before you. But I would just like to say one point. I know one of our colleagues from overseas made a point yesterday that when MNCs come here, they have this issue that outside they pay 5% and India asks for 20%. So how do we bridge this difference? Now, this is a point which I have been facing, since I have joined APA team. A lot of overseas tax director, they come and meet us before actual filing APA application. And this is a common question they ask. They say, we pay 5% in all other countries. Why is that we have to pay 15 or 20 here? Now, my response has always been that you have to pay 15 or 20. We don't know what is that percentage. Whatever that percentage is, you have to pay higher percentage here because an Indian independent party doing similar work in India earns that kind of a margin. Just to illustrate, if a work costs $15 in USA, and USA decide to outsource it to country A, and country A says, I will get this work done for $12, and I will earn a margin of 5%. But India says, I will do this work for $10, even after earning a margin of 20%. USA will give this work to India, not to the other country. And whether it is 20%, 15, 10, or 5, that will get reflected in our comparables from ProAce and Capitaline. So for us, what is important is what a third party is earning in India, doing similar work under similar circumstances. And we have seen from our experience that third party in India, margin is better than margin in some other country. So it is for that reason, I think that message should be properly understood. So when MNC feels that it is 5% in the other country, why India is asking more? India is asking more because an independent entity is earning more in India. So this is the point. But then the second point here, this number is not arm's length price. That has to be made very clear. Our rules make it very clear that all these numbers which are given here, 20, 25, 29, 30, they are not arm's length price. It is not binding on TPO or APA. Our rules are very clear on this. And in fact, when we do APA assessment, APA processing, we are not bound by these numbers. So that I would like to make it very clear. What we'll go about it, we'll go about our economic analysis, which may throw up a different number. And we have seen that it has thrown up a different number, and we have used that number instead of the safe harbor number. So that apprehension, which may be there in the mind of people, that whether the safe harbor number would influence APA determination, so I can say that it will not. Now, coming to APA. Now, Mr. Singh has just said, when he was chairperson, so since then, efforts have been made by a lot of people to introduce APA. But the final push was in the Finance Bill 2012, because APA was part of DTC, and there was a delay in legislating DTC. But then government went about it in 2012. 2012 budget has been talked about for many reasons, but one of the positive reasons is that APA was also introduced in that budget. So that was a very positive step taken by the government to fast-track APA legislation. And even before APA rules were notified, APA team was put in place. So that is something which will demonstrate the intention of government when they decided that now it is the right time to introduce APA, we should go about it with full earnest. So that was a determination that Indian government showed. And rules were framed. Before these rules were framed, there was a committee which was formed under the chairmanship of then DG, Mr. R.N. Dash. And that committee studied the APA regulations of all different countries, and then they decided what is best for India. So it was not a cut and paste job, but actually reasoning was done, discussion were held that what is good for India, and what product came out was really, of international standard. Everybody has appreciated these rules, these guidance notes, these FAQs. And what is important is that each one of the person has been involved actively in this process. A lot of people say that APA is a personality-driven. So I would like to say, no, it is not. Because you see right from the beginning, there have been many people who have been involved in this APA process. Mr. R.N. Das was there, then Mrs. Promila Bhardwaj came, then we had the competent authority, Mr. Sanjay Mishra. They all were the beginner who gave that push, and with the support of all the board chairmen at those point of time. So they give the push. And now currently the present DG and the present competent authority, Mr. Ranjan, DG, Mr. Joshi. So it doesn't matter if people have changed, the thrust has remained the same. So what is important, why I'm saying this is that APA doesn't matter, people are here today, I am here, tomorrow somebody else may be here, doesn't matter, the process will continue because everybody is determined to make it successful. That is what is a very important message. Now, we will just go through these rules just to give a flavor that why we went for a particular kind of provision in our rule. As I said before, it was not a cut and paste job. When we studied other tax administration APA program, we had to, think why should we have this in India? First of all, there is no restriction. Anyone can file. While, that was very important because whenever we want to introduce any new program in emerging economies like India, one has to make sure that there is no favoritism. Now, if you say that this is not allowed, he is allowed, there could always be a kind of a favoritism creeping in. So it was left open to all. We have in other countries where APA authorities just refuse to admit a particular case if they feel that they have a lot of cases in their hand. But no. Our rule doesn't provide for that because we are in emerging economy, not like those developed countries who can refuse and still people will not make noise. That is what is happening today. But in India, the moment we say no to anyone, there will be a lot of noise. So we were aware of these things, and therefore we decided that there will be no restriction on any APA filing. Then mandatory pre-filing. This was really necessary because if we want to make APA a successful program, there has to be a pre-filing so that trust and confidence, we have been talking about it since yesterday, that it is so important between taxpayer and tax administration. And if we have to build that tax